In this episode, I'm gonna talk to you. First of all, I've missed you. Second of all, we're gonna talk about how you have free will, you don't have to suffer, and you're literally the creator of your life. Okay, and also how normalized it is to be suffering. Cause look, it's such a cool rock. Okay, I don't have ages by the way. I took a gap year, right? And for half of the gap year, I feel like I wasn't really living or having fun. I was actually suffering, overworking myself for no reason and doing things that I didn't even want to do. And I felt like I had to keep waiting for my friends to be free because they had, university and work and other responsibilities, which I mean, obviously I also did, but mine, I didn't have university because I took a gap year. Work, I could have done, I always did it remotely, so I never really it did impact my schedule, but I still had a lot of free time, right? And I wanted to hang out with the people that I care about and I love. But a thing that I've noticed is that throughout my gap year, I felt like all my friends or friends or people, I don't know, not all people joke, but my friends would say, sometimes would try to make me feel miserable for taking a gap year. At least that's how it felt, kind of shaming me for having free time because they had exams and other things. But I also did last year, let's say, and I also do technically in a couple of weeks now. But even yesterday, I went to the beach. My friend was jokingly said, I called her. It's I'm at the beach. It's damn, some people are living their best life, huh? And she kind of brought up how she has work and exams and other personal things in her life going on, And it was a bit, I'm oh, okay, you're trying to shame me for being happy and going to the beach, it was a bit of joke kind of ish. But personally, it really made me remember how this year it's exactly how I felt, that I felt people wanted to shame me or punish me for having free time and being able to be happy. Kind of realized that most of my friends are actually they're kind of miserable, and and I'm not saying this to be mean or anything like that, but I see it, and I get it, but why is it so wrong for me not wanting to suffer? Or I don't know, because I think, obviously having exams and work, all these things are very important, but why do you think you have to suffer to be doing those things? Obviously there are harder majors and all that, but exams and whatever, but these things are just gonna be in your life no matter what. Even I have upcoming exams are important. I have meetings, I have things to be done, I have things to study, I have work to do. I also do, but I also want to make time for living, because that's what I'm alive for, I would say. It is for the little things like a walk on the beach that I like to dream about. I like to tell people I love the beach, but I rarely ever go to the beach. But I do, I want to be going to the beach. I want to be having a walk on the beach every day. Why not? What's stopping me but me now, right? Because I have my driver license, I can drive myself here. And I really hate when people postpone things, because I've really noticed that with people. For example, an example that I bring up was how I missed my flight to Greece. I had to visit my friend, whatever. And my parents, my mom was telling me how Maria, is not the season to be traveling because it's cold and all that. Okay. And now it's summer, and my friend was telling me how oh Maria, now it's very hot, it's too hot to travel and all that. It's better to wait for the winter. And it's we went to Romania. My aunt was oh Maria, if you want to travel, if you want to do this, you want to do that, you have to have a lot of money and and all that. And it's you don't, you're there's not going to be a moment in this life that's going to be the right moment for you or for anyone else, right? And especially when you're listening to other people, it's never going to be the right time to do anything, right? Because the thing is you could always have more money to travel. You could always wait for the sun. You could always wait for tomorrow, right? But tomorrow will suddenly turn into a year will turn into a decade, and suddenly your life would have passed you by and you wouldn't have even lived. It's even the last 2 days, 3 days, let's say. I asked, I lived with the beach with my parents, my mom, whatever, my grandma. It's tomorrow. Yesterday she said tomorrow. Today she said tomorrow. Tomorrow. I hate it. get it done today. I hate like the tomorrow thing, you know. I'm like, it's too dark, it's too hot, it's too cold, it's too windy. Fuck it, you know. We're only gonna live once, you know. The sun is gonna set soon. Okay, and I still got my little walk on the beach. I'm still happy. It really helped my mental health. I did what I wanted to do. And this is beautiful and incredible and refreshing, and it makes me happy, and I'm gonna do it. And another thing I was gonna mention is how bad self-doubt is. I feel like I've talked a lot about self-doubt on my channel, because I feel like I really struggled with it a lot, especially like this year. And this year's kind of weird when I realized that when you have any like pinch of self-doubt when you're about to do something, do not share it to anyone. Sometimes you can, sometimes you shouldn't. Because for example, I let people talk me out of a lot of things that I really wanted to do, because I had self-doubt. And you know, when you do have self-doubt, you always like you tend to go and ask for advice from people who don't know you, who don't live your life, and most of the time I feel like they're gonna give you bad advice. I'm a sole believer in whichever answer you're trying to find outside of you, you're gonna find them inside of you. Obviously I feel like it's a good idea to like learn from other people's mistakes, okay? Don't confuse me with that. But it's very important to listen to yourself when it comes to making decisions in your life, and to be in control of your life, and to stick by any decision you make, you know. And you know, sometimes there are gonna be people, or like I want to say the universe will send you people to validate whatever decision you made. Because for me, for example, I went to training in Poland, and before going I actually had doubts about like taking a gap year and all that, and I had throughout the whole year, right? Like, oh my god, I messed up my future, I don't know, you know, like, oh my god, what I'm gonna do, what I'm gonna study, what major, I messed things up, I could have studied this, I could have done that, you know, whatever. But I got a lot of validation from people being like, you did the right thing, because like going in blindly to like whatever major I got in last year, whatever, wouldn't have made me happy. And I see that it's not making other people happy. They were just not brave enough to say that they want to take a gap year. They were just like kind of like going with the flow, even if the flow was not moving in the direction they wanted it to, you know. I think I wouldn't like go back to it and do anything differently in reality. Like, I've achieved so many crazy things, and after coming to Poland I kind of realized my worth. You know, because hello, I am Maria. I was part of the youngest panel and ever at the forum in my country. I am the youngest young youth champion for peace and environment in all my country. I am pretty sure now I'm going to be the youngest liaison officer of my country. I'm going to fulfill some duties. I'm going to learn about my duties on Monday. I have literally organized workshops supported and funded by United Nations Peacekeeping Force, and even organized one funded by Erasmus+. I have stayed in multiple hotels for free. I have seen a couple of countries that I'm so grateful for. I have met so many wonderful people in my life. I've done so many cool ass things, and I feel like I made LinkedIn. It's something that I've been procrastinating on. I didn't even put everything that I've done in my life, or this year even. But like I think I tried finding two of my friends, you know, and I found one of my friends like was on Ivy, and it's like he didn't have a lot of things. He's so great, he's so smart, and he did do a couple of things, you know, extracurriculars, but it's not how like my extracurriculars and my background and my story is so beautifully unique, and there's just so much of it, because I really didn't believe myself around this time last year, you know, even. And I feel like now I actually have the courage to give myself a chance and a shot, and to believe in myself more, which is so cliche, right? But it is so true. Believing in your own abilities is just so important. And yeah, like I realized that I know what I'm gonna do in my life. It's something that like I know no one around my age knows, or even when we think we know, we don't actually know. Personally, looking back, I think I'm glad that I didn't get into my first choice and I didn't do like the battle section to get into computer science, whatever. I think I could have slayed. I could have been great. But I've noticed that it's just this path that some people take because they're promised, working remotely and money and all that, and that my soul is just simply not in it, not wholly. And I told like my roommates when I was in Poland that like working for a dumb startup or like dumb like forex company who literally would not actually help anyone would just not make me as happy as having an impact on people would, like I think I like working with NGOs and volunteering and doing things with the UN and the EU. And today actually someone texted me, who cares? Today someone texted me, a lady from like the United Nations Peacekeeping Force who I think she's very nice and has helped me a lot. It just texted me about like DM'd me to share like their latest event and invited me to it. I said I'm gonna try my best to be there. But even that, like, I just got invited by someone that literally works at the UN, basically, or like, not even invited. Like, why am I so surprised? I've literally like done things with them, right? I'm their youngest year youth champion, right? Or like even before going to Poland, I went to like an embassy party, and the ambassador of the Netherlands told me that if I ever need anything, I could just if I have an idea for like a workshop or an event or anything like that, or whatever, they would be happy to help me. How crazy is that? And I really missed that world. After I went to Poland, I realized that I miss like the buffer zone. I miss peace building. I miss like the helping, the building bridges. It's what drives me, what makes me happiest in this world. It is to heal my country, and to make it better in ways that actually matter to me beyond financial reasons, I don't know, I feel like maybe I'll find myself being a diplomat in a couple of years just by caring about people and chance, not necessarily because as not necessarily because I just love writing essays, or I wanted to be a politician or anything like that. It's just like hearing about people takes in the world, and I feel like it gets me into crazy places. I'm very happy that it does, and I'm very happy that I get to do the things that I get to do. And I want to celebrate. I want to be happy. I want to slow down. I want to have trust. I want to have faith. I remember when I went to Poland, it was my first time abroad, or my first training, exchange, whatever. And the girl told me, my roommate told me that she was nervous, at first, and I thought about my first time and attending like something like this. And I was just not nervous at all. I was so excited. I was so happy. I was like, oh my god, this is meant for me. This is one step closer to where I want to be. Like, not a single shred of doubt or fear in my head. I was just like, yeah! I love 16-year-old Maria so much. Maybe I was a bit afraid, but I just had faith and trust in myself that I knew what I was doing. And I think this is what we all need a bit more of. Faith, That's why I wasn't afraid. It's because I had faith. I believed that this thing was meant for me. And that it was going to be great. And I think it was. So, yeah, those are like my outtakes. Whew. My parents have no idea about like villas and offices or anything. I think think they'll figure out in a couple of months. A thing that they talk about was how, I was like sending messages to my friend, and I held back from sharing this with her because I didn't want to share something so personal with her. But yeah, no, sharing it with the whole internet, the whole world, it makes more sense to me, obviously. So I'm gonna share this. When I was at the embassy party, and like there were people like serving us, like food and beverages and whatever. I really thought to myself how like growing up, my family tended to be the people who were serving, not the ones being served. But in that moment, I was the one being served. It's super random, but like I remember when I stayed at my first hotel room and someone was like cleaning up. I've stayed in hotels room before, right? But not for like 2 weeks, or enough for like to see someone like cleaning up after myself or making my bed or like that or cleaning. I think that you can see them, but like you could notice like you would see them sometimes coming in and out of the rooms and all that. But it's not like I was like waiting there and looking at her cleaning my bed or anything like that. Of course not. And I remember because I thought about my own grandmother, because she would actually work at hotels cleaning for like a couple of decades. 1 or 2 decades, pretty sure. And this old lady, she was very tan. She was old, and it made me think about my grandmother. And my mom was also working in such positions as well, Anyways, and I remember I give her like 10 euros as a tip. I remember telling my mom about it. She was like not impressed. She was like, Maria, but not a big deal. Like, maybe if you got everyone to give her 10 euros, she got like 50 euros, maybe it would have been something, but whatever. Just fine. Like, I don't care. I don't mind that you said that or whatever. I'm glad that I listed that and no one told me to do that. I wanted to do that. Especially because, like, it's like I saw my grandmother and I could see that she was clearly struggling. And I told her that, she doesn't have to clean my bed or clean my room. I wanted to clean it myself, and yeah, I just constantly think to myself that like, it's not like constantly think to myself, but I do acknowledge that like statistically I know I wouldn't have ended up where I have. And I'm not saying this to be mean, I'm saying this to be realistic. And, statistically things were not supposed to work out for me, but I believe I had so much passion and drive and care for the world that I just kept pushing and pushing and got also lucky. And this is only the beginning, right? I'm only 19. Something that like everyone seems to tell me, you're only 18, you're only 19. You feel so grown, you feel so old, you feel like, oh my god, I'm running out of time. You're just beginning to live your life, apparently to most people. It's funny, it's because like I feel like every single person has a different timeline. I've always believed that when it comes to realizing things. Some people realize things sooner, some people realize it later, some people have different ways of dealing with certain things. I know maybe it's cliche to say this, but when you meet even more people, you kind of realize that even more. And when you realize that like, oh yeah, okay, the mental breakdown I had, but like instead of feeling my emotions and processing them, I would just like ignore them until they become a mountain and I would break. I kind of learned to not do that when I was like 13, 14, 15, whatever, I remember. And I recently met the woman that like said the same thing, like she would do that, but like she was probably in her like early 20s or something like that, and she would do that, and her fix was to like go to therapy and work on it, But like the thing is, it's like the same thing, same experience, but just different ages, I think I had the privilege to really heal a lot of me at this age that I am. Like, I feel like 80% healed, but sometimes I felt 100, and as you keep living, you keep getting hurt, and unfortunately you just have to keep healing because there's just no other way to do it. Even though it might suck sometimes, or it might be hard sometimes, it's just the way it is, And personally, I really hated that. I really hated that this year because I was like, but I did it. I did the work. I have 6 journals. Like, how much can I kill? How much work can I put in myself? You know, even though like I did like break my good habits, the meditation every day, the working out every day, you know. You know, but that's really what it is. You know, sometimes you break your good habits because you're too overwhelmed, because life gets confusing, because you're not letting yourself process your emotions. Instead, you're scrolling on TikTok. Real, been there. Was there even today? You know, like got so much anxiety instead of actually processing my feelings or anything like that. I was scrolling, you know, because it was easier to scroll, and that's why I wanted to leave, and I wanted a change of environment, because like I really believe that when you're in an environment that, let's say, broke you or harmed you, or like just reminds you of like someone that you're not anymore, it can definitely take you back to that person, even consciously or unconsciously, you know. And that's why I just wanted to change the scenery, and that's why I had such a hard time like studying in that environment. And I just remember how much I liked study, like having my biology book and like sitting on a bench table, whatever, and like studying it in nature. You know, it's so simple. Like even here, like why study cooped up in my room in darkness, pathetic, when I could just study like by the beach and enjoy it and be happier. Like finding ways to enjoy life, because it's like literally like what difference does it really make? And why wouldn't someone do that? Why wouldn't someone like, you know, study at the beach if they can study at the beach and if they enjoy the beach? Why wouldn't someone study at the park if they like the park and want to study at the park in nature? Or at the library where it's quiet and it's aesthetic and you feel like you're in the Renaissance period, or like in the 1900s and you're like cool scientist or poet or whatever, you know? Like small things that make life more fun and engaging, because why not? You know, maybe I didn't go into the beach, and I do have my swimsuit on, and I'm definitely not going in now. But I think even just walking by the beach and just hearing the waves and being near it means so much and does so much for me and my soul and my heart, and I think it might just for you as well. And just like slowing down and the smell of like seawater, the sun is setting. Now we should probably get going. City lights are on. But even this, like I wanted a break from everyone. I wanted this. I've never done this before. It's exciting, it's new, it's fun. I felt like the coolest mom ever for no reason. I just feel like, yeah, my kids are gonna think I'm so cool. I went to the beach once by myself. But yeah. Well, I think this is it for this video. Thank you for listening, and thank you, Maria, for doing this. I hope this helped you. And I know everyone has been telling you this past year that you should be proud of yourself, and you haven't been feeling it. I just want to say that now I am proud of you. Past you, future you, present you. I am proud of myself. Past, future, present. And you do have a bright future ahead of you, like everyone seems to say so. I love you so much. Bye. Whoa.